All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else. Episode 56, The Sweet Escape. Got a lot in store tonight. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're on IG Live right now. So if you're on IG Live, follow that right there. Come on in the YouTube room. If you're on YouTube, for joining us. Let me go ahead and I got one more thing to put up. Things around here. That one. I've been practicing all day. Little time delay. Anyways, let's get right into it. Fellas. How are you?
Doing well, bro. Doing well.
Still surviving?
Yeah, we're getting to be pros at this point.
Well, I guess. Do you want to be a pro at this though?
I mean, I don't know if we have a choice.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. Superfly.
Yo, what's good?
Good, man.
Yeah, man, we here. That's the best I can say, man. We had some friends.
I feel like every week your answers are just...
It's no joke, man. It's just last week, in the last week or so, I had like 3 deaths that have been close by. So, man, like, it's
real.
It's real. It is real, man. So we here, we healthy, so let's do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring down the show, but
no, man. The weeks going by fast. I feel like we were just sitting here doing this last week.
Right.
Well, yesterday, I should say, not last week, yesterday, but we're getting through. I mean, it's still no outlook on when we're gonna come out of this. So I'm just, like you said, we here.
Yeah. Right. Make the most of
it, ain't nothing much, man. It's like you said, same thing, different day. Seems like it's the same thing every day. Work and more work.
Right. NBA is back though, right?
It's back, but it's gonna take some time to get into, just based on how just looks like it's a big AAU professional tournament now. So
I mean, compared to nothing, I'm gonna watch. Right. I think they're down there having fun though. It should be anyways, right? It's just like one big. I mean, they got the whole town to themselves for the most part. And the first game was.
I heard that they were like the better seated teams had like the better suites in the resort. like that was some real stuff. And I was like, yo, that's a great way to do that actually. Because it's just a bunch of grown men playing basketball, living at a resort for like, however long. That's
3 months. Like for 3 months, right?
I mean, yeah, you're away from your family. That's lame. But dude, to be on a resort for 3 months, just playing ball.
It's definitely going to add to the competitive spirit.
Right. No, is it lame?
What?
For 3 months, is it lame?
I mean, I just have to imagine like only so much time away from the fam is like cool. Otherwise, if you're super comfy with just being away from your family like that, like that's probably not a good sign.
Got you. All right. Before we dive deep into the show, I want to start off with dedicating the show to E from the OT show. His pops. Pop passed away last week. And we found out after the show, so we couldn't do it then, but we're going to do it now. So E, if you're watching, I don't know if you want a couple of these people watching, but yeah, we want to dedicate the show to your pops. May rest on, man. But tonight, we're continuing our Black Business series, and it's going to be a good one. So tonight we got PattyCakePiper. Piper is in the room with us tonight, and she's going to join in all the chats and all the fun that we are something else we have every week. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. Let's dive in. So my first topic does deal with NBA. Let's talk about these Magic City wings. And if you look at the menu, it actually does say Lou Williams lemon pepper barbecue.
Signature flavor.
Now, for those who don't know, Lou Williams of the LA Clippers, the team that's going to contend with the Lakers for the Western Conference. Reigning sixth man of the year, right? And probably one of the deadliest weapons coming off the bench for them if he wasn't going to start. I'm assuming he's coming off the bench.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, professional assassin.
He came out the bubble for personal reasons. A friend of the family passed away, and he was going to do. He went to a funeral or to a celebration of life, and on the way back, he decided he was going to meet up with some of his boys for some of his specialty. Let's do it again. Lemon pepper barbecue wings at Magic City. I don't know much about ATI. I haven't been down there in a while, and I don't know much about Magic City. CB, when you want to tell me what Magic City is?
It's it's funny that you pitched that question to me, but it's a gentleman's club that also is renowned for having really dope food.
Dope enough to sacrifice your season or your team camaraderie by going there, right?
I don't know if the risks are worth it, but I'm not condoning the behavior, but I've also never had a wing flavor named after myself. So
Right. But he had to go there. I mean, he couldn't have them catered. He couldn't have.
Right. If it was just about the wings, right. He had other ways they could go.
The wings, and there was nothing going on. He just went there for the food. Entertainers weren't even around. But on their website, it says they open from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And he just he was in the middle of the midst of that somewhere, and no entertainment, really.
So I got a question though. Who here?
His boy broke one of the codes. Your boy knows you're in the bubble, and he just had it. Taking a picture, fine, but then posting it to social media.
So
did you see the?
So listen. So my question is: anybody in this pet, like everybody that's on here, who done been to the strip club and got wings before though?
I've never been to one of those.
No?
I haven't eaten I haven't been to stadium and ate there. I heard they got that the food is pretty good, but I haven't been myself.
What's that?
They had like top tier chefs there.
Yeah.
What was that, Piper, that you were chiming in? What's that?
Drinks only. I'm not there to eat. Eat after.
I guess depending on what time of day you go.
Also, it's like your proximity to where the entertainment is. You know what I mean? Like, if you're properly distanced, it might be okay. I guess I don't know.
Right. Are the Clippers gonna suffer from this?
It's early in the season. I mean, they're still playoff bound, so him being out until playoffs really don't do much. Other than maybe rhythm. You know what I'm saying with the squad, but. You're going to get that in the first part of the playoffs. So they'd be all right.
Yeah. Sticking on sports, anybody heard what Clinton Portis did this week?
Who?
Clinton Portis.
Who? Who?
All right, fill me in. I actually don't know.
I don't know either.
You don't know. Clinton Portis, who we know was longtime Redskin. He was a broadcaster at this point, right? And
that's what he's been doing, yeah.
Him and 5 or 4 of the Redskins just got caught in a healthcare, just trying to scam the healthcare system. Yeah, over the week. And it's like for obviously a big lump sum of money. Obviously, this is a big thing. So, I mean, we knew he was having financial issues anyway, right? Because there was that big story about 5 years ago that he was out. The funds were depleted.
He was being, I think he was one of those guys that got taken advantage of by a financial advisor. Like basically was stealing money from him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he was, one of those situations, and
right. Comments real quick. Are we okay? No comments as of yet. But as if the bubble wasn't already, a dark cloud wasn't already over the Skins or the Washington football team right now. There's even more controversy going on. All right. Before we forget, CB, I did talk to somebody that we're familiar with. He told me to tell you hi. So then they also told we had to give him a shout out because Marcus, you were there tonight. We got our sponsorship, right? Like the second show in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So got a call from the president of the company. He's like, I know we haven't talked in a while, so we want to pick up the sponsorship again because you guys are live and we like what you're doing. So just give us a shout out. And here we go. So I'm gonna give a shout out to
there it is.
Shout out to Rough Skins. Wait a minute. There we go. Rough Skins is where's the speech? It's been a while since I gave this. The all natural dog condom made for the finest bitch.
It's the best in the market.
Hey, what's so funny? Money.
Hey.
So shout out to Rough Skins. They sent Flynn some samples last time, didn't they, Chris?
Yeah, he got a goodie bag.
Goodie bag? Okay. So they said that if Flynn is still around, they just need an updated address, and they'll give him their whatever they got new on the market.
Hey, I'm cool with it.
All right. Shout out to all right. If you're just joining us, it's episode 56, Sweet Escape. And our guest tonight is joining us. Piper from PattyCakePiper. Let's get into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
I got
in the building.
I got a package in the mail yesterday, and it was wrapped up very nice, all decorated, and I got me an armband, a bracelet, whatever. And inside the package was a banana pudding cheesecake.
I really wanted to act like I didn't get it.
I hope my family's not on here because
So, first of all, it was amazing, and I appreciate you for getting that to us all the way from Cali. So, for those who watching who don't know anything what's going on right now, she's in Cali, and she sent it all the way to the East Coast. First time, right?
yes,
That was your first time.
You might just have a tight line. Just telling you now.
So we were
it was a trial thing because if my aunt or my cousins on here, they're going to kill me. So it was a trial thing to make sure it would make it to the East Coast first. And to Yvonne, I just,
take that. It's okay. As promised, I took the fellas a piece last night. I had to make sure they got it last night because if they didn't get it last night, they weren't getting it today. It wasn't going to last. I'm just telling you, it wasn't going to last. But Superfly, I dropped it off to you first. Just give me some pointers on what you think about it. Tell her.
I mean, I guess first I'd like to know, like, you know, what if you want to get into it, what are some of the ingredients in it? Because it was just like it was complex. The crust versus the rest of the cake, like it was, but everything was like married perfectly. Like it was amazing. Like no cap.
Thank you. The crust does have pecans in it. According to my dad, it was like the best crust he's ever had on a cheesecake. Let him tell it. But it's vanilla wafers and pecans instead of graham.
Yeah, it had just the right crunch. And I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah, it was like the right crunch, and like that was a nice surprise in it. Plus the flavor of the crust itself, like just crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it was funny because Superfly had already sent a gift to the group chat while Kaleo was en route. So I knew it was on the way, and Superfly had already flooded the group chat with his instant reaction. And so, you know, Kaleo gets there. We're chopping it up for a little bit since we haven't seen each other in person in 5 months. And
right.
So get inside. I have really been trying to be on my workout grind, right? So I brought 2 forks so I could share with my brother. And I took the first bite And I was like, oh no. I was like, Ryan, you need to try this right now because otherwise I'm going to eat this whole thing. I feel terrible about myself, but so good at the same time. Like, it was dope. It was so good. And my brother, his immediate reaction was like, wait, this is what? Dude, that's dangerous. Like, those are his words verbatim. He stopped playing Call of Duty to make, the information. So that's how you know it's real.
And then I want to tell you,
it was good to put a video game down then,
Yeah.
and then after all of that, we got a comment saying, well, you need to try the peach cobbler.
Like someone has easy access to it.
Just, like shit on my whole day. I mean, and now I'm looking forward. Now I have to ask for more. Like whatever, but no, it's all good. It's all good.
That was the newest addition to the flavors. So I had to go with Old Faithful first. Banana pudding has been the most popular up until I did the peach cobbler. But I'll get one out to y'all. I gotta hit my family up. All of this is out here. I gotta get my family first. Cobbler after I get my family out the way.
You done started something.
Yeah.
No, it's dope. So how long have you been in business? How long is PattyCakePiper?
I mean, I've been baking and doing custom cakes for 11 years, but more seriously as a business, like the last 7.
Okay. I mean, how with the pandemic going on, and this is a question we've asked everybody thus far. How have you been able to survive or adjust during this pandemic?
You know what? Honestly, when the pandemic first hit, it was rough. Nobody was ordering anything. All my orders were getting canceled left and right because people couldn't have gatherings. So weddings were canceled, birthday parties were canceled. But ironically enough, when the George Floyd incident happened and Black businesses started networking together, shouting each other out, trying to band together, and keep the Black dollar circulating, business has picked up significantly. The cheesecakes is actually what has saved the business because otherwise people have just been ordering small stuff. But the cheesecakes, I didn't anticipate them being a big hit, but they have been. So, that's it. The thing with the business thing is I've always wanted to just do custom cakes. I never really ventured out into other stuff like personal desserts, cheesecakes, pies, all that stuff. I just do custom cakes. That's always been my thing. But the pandemic has definitely made me change my mind. And I definitely had to start getting creative and trying to figure out another way to keep business afloat. So.
Gotcha. That's one question. So I've seen the cakes and I know you work with fondant a lot, obviously.
Yes.
That's a skill set in its own because I tried messing with it and it's just a love-hate thing.
Yes.
But the way to decorate, let me see, I'll pull these up while we talk. But do you have a background in art? It takes an artist to get some of these things pulled off.
So fun fact, I am not an artist. You give me a pen and paper, color pencil paper, you will get stick figures, you'll get the most basic of the basic that you learned in kindergarten. But if you give me a cake and some frosting and fondant, for some reason, I'm like Picasso. So I'm not an artist at all. I have no background in art whatsoever.
Wow.
Let's correct that. You are an artist. You just don't have you just can't draw. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. I can't draw.
Nice. Now, typically, how long does it take to make one of these? Let me I'll pull one back up. You can tell me how long it took you to. We'll start with this one, like this right here. It's edible on this thing, right?
That one took probably. Yes, that whole thing is edible. That one probably took about 3 or 4 hours just the decorating, because of all the smaller pieces. It probably took, probably 4 or 5 hours to be honest, because of the smaller pieces.
Wow. So do you have to? How do you get this to a client? Do you have to? You build it there?
Very carefully with the AC on full blast. Honestly, like I always tell people to just let me deliver it. It's almost like your cake insurance, because once it leaves my hands, if you're hitting them corners at 50 miles an hour, you don't have the AC on, that could melt, it'll tip over, all kinds of things can happen. So usually I like to do the deliveries, but you have to have the AC on blast. Sometimes you got to wear like a winter jacket in the summer just to stay, stay warm.
Wow.
It's dedication.
Wow.
To the craft.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything for? I keep going because I got a million.
So yeah, I have a question around. So did you start out with the custom cakes, or did you build up to that? Like how did you get there? And then before you transition, I guess since COVID you transitioned out, but how did you get up to that point?
My daughter, honestly, her first birthday, she had like this ladybug theme, and I kept going to all the little grocery stores, and nobody had a ladybug cake like in their little booklets. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just try this, and I made her a ladybug cake. And when I tell you she's 11 and she has never seen a grocery store cake for her birthday, that is really what got me started, was her birthday cakes. And eventually, like, family started asking for custom cakes, and I posted pictures. Friends started ordering custom cakes. I honestly doubted myself. I really didn't know that I was as good as I was. It's a natural talent. It's something that can't clearly be denied. But I honestly had no idea that I had the skill until I made her cake. And then it started building from there, and the skills have just, gotten better over the years.
And were you baking like before that, like, as like, were you like already kind of like a home cook, or?
I was not that kid that had the easy bake oven at 4, and I was baking my whole life and in the kitchen with my grandma. Both of my grandparents, my family's from the East Coast. They're from Michigan, Detroit. So I didn't really grow up with my grandparents. I wasn't in the kitchen like that. Like, my dad's a really good cook, so I can cook. But baking was like never really some passion that I had until I just started making her cakes. And ever since then, it's been like love and passion. And there's nothing else that I would really rather do. Nothing else I'd rather sleep over, cry over, because trust me, I have shed so many tears over cakes. There's nothing else that I would really rather do.
Look, let me tell you, if I know all about crying over cakes, because I cried last night when that cheesecake was out. God. So when it comes to tears, I know all about it. So inspirations. Are people giving you ideas of what they want? Are they sending you a picture and say, I want you to make this, or they just kind of tell you what direction to go in, and you just build it in your mind and create it from there?
It depends. People do tend to send pictures. I prefer a picture. Eric will probably tell you my most hated orders are the ones where they just tell me to do whatever I want. Only because my idea of what looks nice may not be your idea of what looks nice. So if you give me that creative freedom, you have to just kind of take it for what it is and know that it may not be, your idea of what this cake was supposed to look like. So, people do tend to send pictures, but I never do it identically. I try and like put my own little spin or twist or something like that on it, just out of respect to the artist who made it. So I try and switch it up a little bit. That's my dad, by the way. Nice. See that pecan crust? He's obsessed.
Hey, he right.
Shout out to Gary Chapman for joining us. Thank you for joining us. The pecan crust is something special. I knew it wasn't graham crackers when I've been into this is something different. Something special is going on right now in this crust. So is baking your full time? Is this your full time thing now? You all in?
Right now, yes. Because of COVID, I actually work at a do-it-yourself cake and cupcake decorating studio. It's called Duff's Cake Mix. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Food Network and Duff Goldman, but we have like a do-it-yourself decorating studio, and I'm actually the area manager. But this pandemic has actually been the biggest blessing in disguise, because I was always so knee-deep in work that I was never able to like devote time that I wanted to. I had all these ideas that I wanted to do for my business. And since the pandemic, and we've had to close all those studios, the grind has not stopped. The marathon has continued, as we say in LA. So definitely took my business to the next level. So, this pandemic has definitely been the biggest blessing in disguise for me.
Gotcha.
I got one that I definitely I'm close to the source. So I got to ask this question, because I feel like I ask all the time, or for me, like as you guys said, like she's an artist, right? And a lot of times, to sit back and see what the creation is after the fact, right, is crazy. Like that turtle cake, I literally sent her a picture of like the Finding Nemo little turtle, and I was like, it looked just like this. You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact, like that was her first time doing a turtle. So it's like the vision, the image that she has. But so I gotta ask, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What is your dopest cake to you that you've done thus far?
Oh, it's so hard to pick. They're like your little babies. You don't have a favorite really, but
and don't say the pink cobbler, please don't, because Eric will get even more trouble. Don't say that one.
No, it'll be a cake. I promise it'll be a cake.
Okay.
Probably I can't pick one. I probably have to pick two. But the turtle cake, which was honestly, I just did that one last week. I really shocked myself with that one. If I'm being honest, Eric can tell you, like I did it and I was like, damn, like sometimes I shock myself and I'm like, I really have skills that I was unaware of. Because a lot of times it's like when people ask me to do stuff, it's the first time that I've done it. Those are my favorite cakes to make because it's a challenge. So I always take a challenge head on. Some people will call me crazy for it, but it has always benefited me in the long run. But my second one is probably that Jordan. It's a Jordan Cool Gray, the Cool Gray 11.
I've seen that one. I saw that. That definitely. When I saw it, I was like, wow, that concentration for sure to get that pulled off, and looked amazing. How many? Go ahead. Yeah, go.
So I mean, so sticking with the theme of being an artist, so like your cakes are like not only amazing from the outside, but also from the inside. And you talk about kind of how, like, what your thought process is in like putting together these desserts.
It's so funny because when people order. Most of the time people are like, oh, I don't know what flavors do you offer? And you send them a list of like 27 flavors. They always pick chocolate, vanilla, and like red velvet. And I'm like, I just sent you like 30 flavors, but people are real basic. Contrary to popular belief, like they just really don't deter too far from like flavors. So I really don't get a whole lot of opportunity to experiment with flavors when it comes to cakes. Which I think is why I enjoy the cheesecake so much, because I can experiment that way. But even the artistic process is kind of crazy because like I'm not, I guess in the sense of the artistic part, like I'm kind of a procrastinator. The vision doesn't come to me until like 2 days, 3 days, sometimes right before I have to do the cake. I mean, the baking and stuff is out the way. But a lot of times like the artistic part of it just doesn't come to me until sometimes days before. There's been times where it's coming to me as I'm working on it, unless they're very specific and they want the exact design that they sent me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How far out in advance do you need an order placed to get something made and put, delivered to a client?
This is a great question, and I hope all my customers are listening. I prefer at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks, if not more. The average person orders a week or less in advance. And because of that, sometimes I have to turn away orders because people don't realize the art and the skills and the time that go into it. Depending on the design of a cake, sometimes you have to start making like small elements a week ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time, because it has to dry, get hard. For like some of the stuff that you put on top of a cake. So people don't realize how long it takes to make a cake. I think, the TV shows definitely have people spoiled, when it's like, oh, you have 2 hours and I'm going to pull this cake out my ass. Like it doesn't work that way at all. So, the people from the TV shows, they're like, oh, they make these big cakes in 2 hours. You should be able to do the same thing. And it's just really not the same. Plus not having a bakery. Not having a storefront bakery or anything, I have to bake the cake. I don't have a big freezer in the back where everything's flash frozen and I could just pull it out when you ask me for an order. I got to bake, I got to make frosting, I got to put it together. I got to, it's a lot more work for me than it is for like a bakery if you hit them up last minute. So.
and I'm glad you said that. I mean, I'm glad you said because I'm gonna go somewhere with this. Actually, I'm gonna take this clip of everything you just said down to the Giant, to the Safeway, and tell them y'all aren't building any damn cakes. I should be able to order my cake 3 hours before I want it because it's already made, and all you're doing is copying a fucking picture that's edible and laying it right on top of a cake that's been in the freezer for 3 months. You're not doing anything fancy. And this Piper's building cakes and she needs 2 weeks. You aren't building cakes. You put pictures on it. You're a student in high school. I want my cake in 2 hours. I'm just saying.
Right.
No, you guys aren't bakers. They're defrosters.
Right. They're professional crafters. That's exactly what they are. They can frost the cake in probably less than a minute. So that's really all they have to do. Slap a picture on there and type a little border real quick.
Exactly. What's the normal situation of how many takes does it take for you to get the cake right? Like do you have some mess ups and you got to start all over again? Or, how often does that happen?
That's where the tears come in. When you start making it and it's not looking right and it's 2:00 in the morning. It doesn't happen very often. I'm just blessed, I guess, in that way. But there have been times where it's like you got to pull all the fondant off, then you got to crumb coat the cake and start over. And it's a process. Like I said, it's not like a grocery store flash frozen. When I have to frost the cakes, I got to put it in the refrigerator, let it get hard first before I can even put fondant back on it. So it is a process, but it hasn't happened too many times, knock on wood. I think the most, like if I've ever had a goof, it's normally been in transit. I think it happened like once or twice. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't me, it was my delivery person, but we won't throw them under the bus.
Well, I'm about to ask you to speak on that. You don't have to give no names.
It wasn't him. It was not. I was
about to say, was your delivery person driving a fancy foreign car and also wearing the same shirt I got on?
No.
Damn. CB, didn't you have a question? Because Cleo's getting out of hand right now. Just
No. But that was a real question. Like in transit. So what's that story? Like what's a snafu that's happened in transit when you had to fix it kind of on spot or kind of, how does that happen? How do you repair it?
I have learned my lesson. I take kits with me now when I have to do deliveries. So I take some frosting, a little bit of fondant, whatever colors I use. Exactos always come in handy because the tricky thing in LA is weather. And when you start talking about the heat, then you start getting bubbles in the fondant because of the contrast in weather, because of the cold cake and the hot weather. So they tend to bubble. So Exactos come in handy to pop the bubbles. I call it cake surgery, where you have to kind of play a little bit of operation and piece it back together. But I take kits with me now. Take all the tools that I use, a little bit of frosting and some fondant just in case something does go awry.
I got one. Being out in LA, have you had, and if you're at liberty to disclose, have you had any like kind of super dope clients?
Yes. Being in LA, it's Hollywood, it's film, it's music, it's all of these great things that you see in movies. I have done stuff for Wiz Khalifa. I've done quite a few things for him, actually. Kevin Hart.
I know which one was the Wiz Khalifa cake.
Huh?
That's one of the 30 ingredients.
No. There's a leaf cake that's on her site, and she just said Wiz. I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Maybe not.
That actually was not even for him. That was like a random. One of my friends. It was for his uncle. He was turning like 50 or something, and that was the cake that they had ordered. I haven't posted most of the stuff that I did for him. I did like a Father's Day cake, his 30th birthday. I did his whole weekend, like desserts and his cake, the whole nine. Kevin Hart, I've done stuff. I did something for his son. His son had a birthday last year, and I got commissioned to do Fortnite. I knew nothing about Fortnite. I had to ask my kid. I was like, I don't know nothing about this, but I'm done stuff for Kevin Hart, Ariana Grande through work. Because of who I work for, celebrities are associated with him, therefore they come to the studio. So those are just a few of the more recent ones that I've done. I'm sure I'm probably missing some. I could probably fill in with whatever I'm forgetting, but
John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Right.
The dad just was out when I went to their house. So I don't even know how I forgot about that, but I did. I went to their house. That was through work as well. But almost every year she asked somebody to come to her house and help them to decorate a cake for one of her kids. And last year I was able to go to their house and I helped them decorate. Really, I just decorated the cake for their son Miles, which was really dope. They're probably the most down-to-earth celebrities I've ever met.
So you're saying when this pandemic breaks, you're gonna be on lip sync battle?
You never know. Me and Chrissy, we're homegirls now, so I don't know.
That Laker cake she made a few years ago was probably the best that I've seen.
I don't know what cake that is.
Hey, I
made a Laker cake.
Look.
I made two, but I don't know which one that is.
Right. Hey, I would say one of her dopest cakes that I think is underrated, probably just because of the way it came through, was I had asked for a Gucci backpack. I was just throwing it out there, literally just throwing it out there, and she literally delivered a Gucci backpack cake that was strawberry, that had the fondant all over it with the G's all over it, and it had the zipper that then had my favorite candy, which was the Sour Patch Kids inside of it.
Crazy.
And you talking about this? I mean, that was years ago. This was before, this is when she was still just kind of, just like doing her thing. And like I said, the fact that, this is just me, the fact that she, no classes, she didn't walk into this from being in school for it or nothing like that. I keep telling her the natural talent is ill. It's unprecedented because you can tell the difference from natural talent to somebody who had to go to school for it. And it shows every time, for real. Every time she puts something putting down, you can tell.
Nice. We got a question from,
by the way. I had to wing that whole cake. I didn't know how to make a backpack cake. I just went off at the top of the dome, what does a backpack look like, and how do I translate this into cake? And it turned out, like I said, I just, it's a natural skill. I just been blessed with it. I can only thank God for it.
We got a question from Educated Queen. Do you make vegan cakes?
That is not really a territory I tap into. I have done it. But, there's so many particulars when it comes to vegan and gluten-free. I guess because I've had to take all the serve, save, food handler stuff for work. Your kitchen, technically you're supposed to use a separate kitchen because of cross-contamination. So I do it on special requests. Actually, one of my best customers, her son is allergic to eggs. And I've been making his cake, actually their whole family's cakes, for probably about 6 years now, maybe even 7. I just delivered one to her this morning, matter of fact. But she's really the only person that I do it for. I did a whole taste testing and everything with her. I told her up front, look, this is not my specialty. I've never done it. I'll make you a cake. You can try it. If you like it, cool. If you don't, no hard feelings. And she's been rocking with me ever since. Like I said, I just dropped off a cake for her son. Her son's birthday is today. And I just dropped off a cake for her today. And it's been about 6 years, I think, I've been making cakes for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All your cakes are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's from it must be from E. Rich's burner account.
No, that's my sister. I used to we were managers together.
Nice. So with all the preparation, you said a few hours to get all this stuff going and put together, and this is without delivery time, correct? Yes. How does the cake manage to keep its taste, its flavor? Does it go into the ingredients, or does it, does the fondant, because of the sweetness of the fondant, does that make up for some of the stuff that you may lose with all that prep time?
The fondant, which I am not a fan of fondant, by the way, but fondant actually works as it kind of keeps everything intact. It keeps everything sealed in. So it's almost like a protective seal over what's inside. It looks a lot neater than frosting. That is where all the money is, which is why I had to venture into fondant. When I first started cakes, I was like, I'm never doing fondant. It's so disgusting. Who eats that? I'm only doing buttercream. And I started doing my research, and I learned that that's where the money is. So I had to change my thought process just a little bit. But it kind of serves as like a protectant over everything. So it kind of keeps everything intact, keeps all the flavors intact. But most of the flavor is really in the cake and your frosting. Fondant, if I'm being honest, if you like marshmallows, people say it tastes like marshmallows. To me, it tastes like pure sugar, like a sugary Play-Doh of some sort, which is why I'm not a fan. But it looks a lot neater presentation-wise. Which is why most people go that route when they order cakes, because although you can do a lot with buttercream, and there are a lot of dope artists out there that do stuff with buttercream, fondant is usually the preferred decorated.
All right.
Do you have a desire at all to do one of those like TV shows?
Yes. I have done Cake Wars. I did that.
That's awesome.
God, I think it's been like 3 years ago now. One of my friends,
Still relevant. We just found out about it, so it's still very much relevant.
If you notice on my page, like even the celebrities I mentioned, like I don't know, I guess I'm just not that person where I'm like, look what I did, look what I've been doing. Like I'm not a flashy person. Not that I don't think it's dope to put it out there, but I'm just not that person, because I feel like I want you to like me for my talent, not because of who I did cakes for and because I've been on TV. So I put it out there, but it's kind of subtle usually if you see it out there. But yeah, I did Cake Wars about 3 years ago. One of my friends, she actually mentored me in the beginning when I was trying to first get into fondant. One of a mutual friend of ours kind of linked us together and was like, hey, I think it'd be dope if you work together. I used to walk around the corner to her house, and I would, she just kind of showed me the trade. She would let me help out from time to time. And then, fast forward a year or two later, she had hit me up and like, hey, I got this opportunity for Cake Wars. So I was not the main baker. I was her assistant. If you would like to look it up, you can. It was the SpongeBob episode. I will put it out there now, so there's no disappointment. We got eliminated the first round because we forgot to put the sugar in the cake, of all things.
That's okay. Hey, look.
Exactly.
That's when you're resume.
Minor setback for a major comeback.
Right. Ironically enough, she changed her business name to Don't Forget the Sugar. It took a while to get over the heartbreak, but she changed her name to Don't Forget the Sugar. But yeah, we forgot the sugar in the cake. It was like lemon cornbread. The judges let us have it, and we were eliminated. But I have a desire to do it again, because for me, it's redemption. It's like it's embarrassing, but it was a dope opportunity. I would never trade it for the world. It was very embarrassing to be on national TV and be a baker and forget sugar of all things. But it was the first time I've done it outside of doing little stuff for work. And, I would definitely love to have some sort of redemption. So, stay tuned, because you never know when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nice. So like on a show like that, like we get what we see is consolidated in so much. So what typically you were just on one? It was just one episode.
Yes, that was one episode.
How much film time? How much time does that take just to film one episode?
All day. You have to prep and you have to be camera ready, and then there's producers. It is an all day process. They do give you breaks. You get to eat. You get to kind of chill for a little bit. But once those cameras are rolling, like, all right, everybody, come on, let's go. It's an all day process. That was a 1 episode show, and I think it was like a 3-day process. Between doing all the interviews and the green screen and doing all of that stuff too, because you have to kind of go back and relive those horrible moments when you forget the sugar, and do interviews and stuff. So it's like it was a 3-day process for a 1-hour episode.
Sheesh. Is that pressure from the show more than like pressure in real life baking?
It was real new to me, because like when I do cakes, I normally just turn on some music and vibe out. I just kind of get focused, get in my groove, and I just do what I do. I'm not like doing a whole lot of extra stuff. I don't even answer the phone, to be honest, because just trying to answer the phone, I feel like that's gonna make me mess up. So it is different to have cameras in your face and producers in your face, and then if you say, oh shit, I messed up, they're like, what did you do? How are you gonna fix it? They're like constantly throwing questions in your face, and you have to respond to them. So for me, it was a lot. It was really out of my element because, again, like I'm the put music on, vibe out, don't talk to me, don't mess with me. I might answer a question or two, but don't ask me to do a whole lot. So having cameras in your face, and again, if they see you mess up, then now you got to walk them through how you messed up and how you're going to fix it and what are you going to do next. And so having to talk through that was it was a different experience. It was definitely a lot more pressure for sure.
Now,
Any playlist?
I don't. It really just depends on my mood. It really could be anything like, I don't know. Some days it'll be like a gospel playlist, and other days, my Suburban Thug comes out, and it'll be like Rick Ross. I don't know. Like it depends on my mood because certain songs will get you through certain cakes. So it just depends on my mood. It really could be anything.
Gotcha. Okay. You mentioned playlist. He just asked you about the playlist. What, before we get into that big question, right now, what is your favorite song that is current right now? Your go-to?
Oh, gosh, so much pressure because I love everything. Right now.
Like if you were to go bake a cake right now.
Look, my house music, I'll tell you in 1 second. I'll tell you in 1 second.
Okay. E, what's the score while she does that?
LA up 12.
You talking about Lakers up?
Yeah, my bad. The Lakers.
I figured that's of course it's what he meant.
I'm never referring to the Clippers as LA, by the way. So they're always going to be the Clippers.
Right.
Tiana Taylor. I like her whole new album in general. But Wake has been like probably on repeat for a cool minute. I have to switch it up every now and then, but Wake Up from Tiana Taylor's been in heavy rotation.
That's a good album. I've listened to that a few times. So we do a top 5 at the end of the year every year, and to get to that top 5, sometimes it takes all year to get that 5th album. Right now,
yes,
I'm currently probably looking at 6 or 7, and and I'm gonna have to consolidate once we get to the end of the year. But there's been some pretty good stuff that's come out this year. But before we dive into the music question, let's talk about because you're in LA, right? Are you in LA? Okay.
Not LA. I'm like an hour north of LA. I'm in Palmdale.
Okay. How did Kobe's death affect you? Man,
that one hit hard. I've always been a Kobe fan. Like from the beginning. It's funny because coming back to my parents, I have every newspaper article. I had my walls are plastered with Kobe, with all types of Kobe posters. So I've been a fan of him since the very beginning. And I know when I got that text to be like, he passed, it was just kind of like your heart dropped. It almost felt like family, to be honest, because, watching him grow in his career from the early days up until retirement and even after retirement, it felt like family, and it definitely hit hard. I did not do a cake. I wanted to do a cake, but, I didn't. A lot of people text me like, you should do something, but I just, I don't, if the vibe's not right, I won't do it. And I'm not into doing stuff just for, this is trending right now, so let me put out a cake real quick. Because, it did. It was a very sad moment for the city of LA, for the state of California, really. But for the city of LA, it definitely hit hard.
Where were you?
Ironically enough, I was getting a massage, so I was nice and relaxed. And then I come out of the massage to that, and I was like, I need another one. I need a 2-hour one now. Because, I had left to go get a massage, and I came out, and it was flooded all on my phone, all on the timeline. I had about 10 text messages, a couple phone calls, and I'm like, okay, I guess, maybe it's real, because you don't want to believe it's real, to be honest. It almost, right. the cliche saying of celebrities almost untouchable. Because he was so young and, he just had so much going, it was unreal almost to see somebody like that just gone that quick.
Right. Does that feel like it was a lifetime ago?
With all this pandemic stuff, it does feel like it was way longer than it truly was, to be honest.
Yeah. What about Nipsey?
That was a tough one too. I will be honest and say that I was not like some diehard Nipsey fan just because I was from LA. I did like his music, but I was not like necessarily a diehard fan. But that one actually hit tougher than I thought it would, just because I wasn't like that hardcore fan. I think we were like at the park or something, and the Shade Room starts posting. There's a couple Instagram pages. When they start posting, you're like, oh god, like TMZ, the Shade Room, and you just don't want to believe that stuff when you first see it, because again, it's just that untouchable celebrity. When you see people having so much going for themselves, they're out here doing good in the world, and then for their life to just be taken like that, just it really puts things in perspective, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, and that was a big year for him. Like, I think we had all had at least that album, Victory Lap, in our top 5 for the year, if not number 1. And I was a late comer to Nip, so that Victory Lap for me was the one where I'm like, oh, yo, this dude is kind of dope. But then afterwards, I went back and backtracked a lot of his stuff. But yeah, it was not that I wasn't too connected to him at that point, but you feel the story and you're like, wow, really? Like, because you could see someone getting ready to come into their element. Like, they were getting ready to get that big commercial shine that they were maybe he was thinking or not, but then just everything behind it. So
I met him honestly, but before he became big at Slauson Swap Meet, I was down there with my cousin, and that was when he was still out the trunk of his car, like, hey, listen to my demo. Not gonna lie, went in the trash. But that was like in his early days, you know what I'm saying? So I did meet him, and just to say that I did, you know what I mean? Even though it was early in his career or whatever, he was hustling from the beginning. So, like, again, like we always say in LA, marathon always continues.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't the album he was selling for $100, was it?
No, this was like the very beginning. Like,
before that.
He wasn't signed to anybody. He was still just like nobody, really. He was nobody at that time. And he was just like, if you listen to my thing, if you want a donation, if you want to make a donation type deal, he wasn't the name yet.
Right. I feel bad because I know I'm passed up on a couple of guys at the grocery store that hand me their CD and be like, yo, buy my stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pass. If you make it out, that'll be my bad that I missed out on opportunity. But
right.
Super fun.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, his, like mantra around, investing in your own community. A lot of the things he's like foretelling things that we are kind of executing on now that COVID has hit. And, in a way, that's the saddest part about it to me, is that, he was always, preaching about, being a part of your community and building it up from the ground and leading it, and I think because he rose to prominence, one of the reasons why we're able to come together like we are during this time, he's kind of set that example, but it's also like kind of the most hurtful part of it, in the way that he kind of met his demise as well.
Right. I had, back on the business side, I had 2 questions, and then we can dive into some other stuff. Marketing. How are you marketing yourself, or what's your go-to?
Right now it's just social media. I feel like that's kind of the platform, the way to go. I have a couple of marketers right now, but social media, that's become the new norm when it comes to marketing and kind of getting your business out there, word of mouth. I think I've been watching the last few episodes, and I think for small businesses, when you're not like a major chain, that's like the best marketing really that you could have is, someone telling a friend or just reposting something for you, or, hey, check out my friend, or whatever the case is. Word of mouth and social media have been lifesavers. Social media, especially more recently. Like I said, when the George Floyd incident happened, and, everyone's been real big on like, Black businesses and trying to uplift Black businesses. I can't even tell you the amount of networking that I have done on social media in the last couple of months. Just even just business wise, like I've already surpassed what I made last year in just the last 3 months. So it definitely, social media is, it's an evil for some, but for others, it definitely is very helpful.
All right, so real quick on IG, A Chamberlain 23 says your cheesecakes are no joke. The pictures make you start drooling. If you want to see Piper, she's on YouTube and Facebook right now live. You can hop in and see her and say hi. A Chamberlain 23. I'm assuming you know her.
I
right?
do.
Okay.
Because people's social media names are never their government names, so it takes
right. Of course. Now with food service, especially cakes, have you gotten much negative feedback from anyone?
Not really. I always try and stay on my A-game. I always try and put my best foot forward. If something's not right, I try and make it right immediately. Because, customer service is really what's going to take you far when, again, you're not a big name, when you are a small business, when you're a home baker and you don't have that storefront where it's just like a guaranteed sale no matter what. But I don't, food service, I'm pretty on top of it because of work. I really have to be. So I have my serve safe, my food handlers, I have the manager certificate. So, I'm real on top of that part of it.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Based upon all the plethora of orders that you've done and cakes that you've had to deliver, I know there's got to be a story out there that's that either just kind of blew your mind or just, whether it was feedback, because you brought up whether it's just a customer service, like you really take pride in your craft, you take pride in what you deliver to them. Has there been anything that's just kind of like stood out that was just like, where did that come from? Or, anything, or even a gratitude, where it's just like people just kind of, like you said, you see the panel here, they all went crazy for the cheesecake, but I'm eager to know if there was somebody on the other side that just had something to say that was just out of pocket.
Yes. On the gratitude side, I've literally had customers cry when they've received their cakes. And for me, the smiles, the cries, the thank yous, that is why I do it, to see the smile on people's face, to see the excitement, when they sent a picture and they kind of knew what it was going to look like, but when they see it in person, they're just like wowed all over again. But to be honest, the most negative feedback that I have ever had was probably the most backward feedback that I've ever had. I had got asked to do a Sweet 16 cake and some cake pops or something. I made the cake. It was just like, I thought it was simple, some rosettes and the color, I had like a little ombre, and then I did a picture of the little girl. Couple hours after it was delivered, I got a message that was like, basically the cake was too nice. It was a wedding cake. And she did not like it because she wanted something more simple. And when I asked her what was simple, she sent me a picture of essentially a cheat cake that you could get from the grocery store with a edible image slapped on top, and that was it. And I was like, well, if you wanted that, then you could have went to the grocery store. You know what I mean? Like for me, if I'm going to charge you $200, $300, $1,000, I'm going to make sure that you feel like you got your money's worth, whatever that means for whatever type of cake you get. So that was probably the most negative feedback. And it took me a long time to even figure out how to respond to that, because I'm like, not saying that it was ugly. You're just saying it was too nice. And I guess it was a compliment in a way, but she said the cake was too nice. So that's the most kind of an insult
to the daughter, right? Like my daughter, this shit is too nice on my daughter. Like what? Like my daughter ain't good enough for a cake like this. That's kind of a backhand.
It's on my plate actually. It's an ombre cake and it's teal and it has just like I made like a little picture frame out of fondant, put the girl's picture on it, had like sparkly cake pops, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna charge you what I'm gonna charge you, then why would I not make sure that if you wanted a sheet cake, you could have saved you $300 and
she didn't know what you was paying for. Oh my God, I was the price tag, but definitely tell a story about what you're gonna get.
Apparently not. You know, she had ordered from me before. That was the crazy part. She had ordered from me before, so she kind of already knew what to expect. But for some reason, she had a vision of a sheet cake, and I did not give her a sheet cake. I gave her sparkles and way too much, and it was like a wedding cake, and she did not like it. So,
you don't have to be exact or particular, or whatever. Give us a range on about from a price of a cheesecake to a price of a nice decorated cake. What will we range in that price range?
So cheesecakes, the most basic one is $50. Almost all the ones that I offer are specialty flavors. So those all go for $65 for the whole thing. I normally don't do slices, again, because I'm not this big commercial bakery. I just don't have the stuff on hand. So, I just try and sell the whole thing unless I'm doing a pop-up shop. But cakes, they could range, like my minimum for the most part is about $100. And that's just like something real small and personal. The most expensive order so far that I've had was about $1,500. It was a wedding cake though. And actually you have the picture, the one that you had posted with the flowers and little hexagon and all that in there. That was a pandemic wedding, which was a new experience for me. It was supposed to be like a 600 guest wedding, and it ended up being like a 25 guest wedding. So, it went from like a $1,500 cake order to like a $400 cake order, but
wow. Yeah. On the marketing side, have you developed a lot of content around the business? I know you have the IG page, like a lot of pictures. Are you doing any, video stuff or podcasts or anything like that?
Well, this is my first podcast. It's just like a thing that I have to get over. Like I say, I need to go live more, but then I'm like, you go live and like 2 or 3 people join you. You're like, this is a waste. And
so I don't start somewhere.
Right, exactly. I need to get better at it. I've been looking into doing like videos. My family, my cousins are always on me about like trying to create a YouTube. I'm just like not tech savvy whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So really, I probably need to hire somebody, commission a cousin or a sibling or something to help me do it.
This way, get that.
There you go.
Yeah, like I really want to get into that. I just haven't. I've had a lot of people tell me to like start doing YouTube videos, just on basic. So
right.
So it's all back.
But this is the work, man.
Yeah, and that's I've preached this word every week. It seems like now is the time to build. The world's at a somewhat of a standstill, and got to take advantage of building. That's it.
Also believe like people even more so than the thing that you produce, people invest in you. You know what I mean? So the more that you can share who you are, the more it's going to manifest itself in your business. I'm telling you.
I'm learning. I'm gonna start doing it. I just gotta, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do first. But I'm definitely gonna start doing it. They're trying to push me to do it for work anyway, so might as well just do it for myself if I have to do it for them.
You got a comment right there. Do it. There you go. All right. Top 3 movies. Let's start there. Top 3 movies of your favorite 3 of all time.
Okay, no particular order, but Life.
Okay, Life.
And basketball.
I'm in basketball.
Life, Love and Basketball, and Napoleon Dynamite. Because I'm a goober at heart. So.
All those movies were good movies.
Yeah, I love Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite was a sleeper. Like, that's one of those ones where you almost have to be into something different or something else. And
I have
that's my joint.
That's how much I like it. I know most of the words, so.
I used to have that one T-shirt with the unicorn. I don't have it no more, but that joint was dope, man.
I had a vote for Pedro at one point.
Yeah, that was a good one. What about albums? This is where people tend to struggle.
This is the one that stressed me because I'm more of a music person than I am movies. So, again, I just went with some of my top artists.
Right. So there had to be an album, at least 3 albums you've listened to from front to back every time you listen to it, you gotta.
So, Music Soul Child is one of like my all-time favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pick one from him. Music and the Magic from him is one of my favorite albums. Drake is also one of my all-time favorite artists. So if I had to pick one of his, I would pick Thank You Later.
Okay, you picked the right one.
Thank You Later is my favorite from him, although I love everything. And then for my inner suburban thug that most people don't get to see that side, Rick Ross, God Forgives and I Don't, has been played on replay many times on cake deliveries. You know, I have to build up that before I deliver these cakes sometimes. Right. So
nice. So you segued into Rick Ross. 2 Chainz versus Rick Ross, the next versus battle. Are we interested in that at all?
I'm Rick Ross all the way.
I'm interested in seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, basically all these are so interesting, and it's like some of the most prime entertainment that we've gotten, you know, throughout this entire COVID quarantine, you know, like I'm just happy that they just keep being able to put them out.
I gotta admit though, I've never actually listened to a whole 2 Chainz album. Singles, like I'm a DJ, so singles like crazy, but I've never actually listened to a whole album.
I listen to all was it Pretty Girls Love Trap music or whatever? Was that Pretty Girls Love Trap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to all that one. That was a good one. But yeah, like I said, pockets of music. And Rick Ross, to me,
I might listen to Rapper Go to the League.
Oh,
I think that might be the only one I listen to, but yeah, he's more of a single-driven artist.
I've listened. I think I've listened to more Ross albums because of Justice League.
Yeah, Ross is like his whole thing is about the whole body of work. You know what I mean? The production, everything fitting together seamlessly. You know.
Right. I
think it's a good matchup. You know.
Yeah.
Chain's first album went hard though. The TRU. I mean, you had the Riot. You had, you know, he had the song with Wayne. So I think again, I think it's gonna be his is more feature based. Like, you know, he had one with, he got, you know, he went hard on that the one with you know, Pusha, Big Sean. So you look at his is probably not from his catalog in the sense of his album, but more so probably he was on other people's stuff. So his verse is going to probably be hard. But again, like you said, the whole body of, you know, the collection that he's coming from is not going to be just from his albums.
Yeah, his songs might actually hit a little bit harder than Ross for some of them. You know what I mean? Like the club hits, they're probably neck and neck. But those album cuts, like, I don't know, like, you know, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, for that battle to go down, obviously the true pocket, the hardcore fans of those guys are going to like more of the stuff that's not played on the radio. I'm assuming that. Just around here, we don't get a lot of Chainz, you know, stuff on the radio. I mean, unless it's the joint with Trey Songz, where It's a Vibe that was on the joint with Kanye. Like, kind of the more commercial stuff gets played around here.
Yeah, the suburban thugs listen to 2 Chainz, you know.
He's definitely lyrical. Like, I mean, he's even more lyrical than Rick Ross to me. You know, like Ross kind of has a formula, but the lyrics, I think 2 Chainz might have him because he's just clever.
Ross rides that epic production. That Justice League will carry him through a whole track or whole album like a wave. Like he doesn't have to do much, and just make shit rhyme every now and then. Yeah.
He got a lot of early on. He got a lot of production from the Runners too.
Oh yeah, Runners too.
That lyrical with 2 Chainz, I can't agree with that. Like, if you really listen to some of his lyrics, they be real elementary. You know, if you really listen to what he's saying, you know,
he's like Jay-Z. You'll get it later. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can say that about Jay-Z.
You can buy it. If you really sit down and listen to what he's saying, you're like, wow. Like sometimes I think I could be a rapper when I listen to some of the lyrics. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Rick Ross.
Yeah.
You probably could.
Mm-hmm.
You probably could. Have Eric play Get At Me. Have Eric play that for you.
Next.
You put that out? So look, I also for years, and I've gotten back into a lot more lately. Music production, theater production in school and all that. The music production, obviously you heard me talk about Justice League, so I'm the guy who listens to, I hear the beat before I hear the lyrics first, and I'll go back and I'm like, oh shit, did he just say that? But, so I do music, and once upon a time, I was experimenting with some sounds or whatever, like the Wale thing was huge around here, and a lot of the like go-go beats was huge around here, like, and so I made one, and then I passed it on to my boy in the corner right there, and we went in the studio and we did a song together, and I
think I heard it.
You did,
didn't you?
Oh, okay.
I heard it.
That was years ago, but I mean, just some history. But let's get into For the Soul. It's one of our favorite segments because it's about shoes, and right now one of us is winning the pandemic more than the other. That's this guy right here.
Yep, that guy right there.
This guy right here is killing pandemic. He's killing. He's killing.
A lot of pairs. A lot of pairs.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll start off. So I'm gonna last time I start. So, since we're going on Lakers right now, this isn't, it's a LeBron box.
Yeah, the Safari joints.
LeBron Safaris.
Not bad.
I don't know. I remember I tried to get them live off when I was working at the gym at the time, and they did a sneaker drop, and I had them in the cart, and I used the wrong credit card that I had discontinued, and I thought, I was like, "Where's my Gotham sticker? Where's my Gotham?" And then I was like, "Oh shit! I used the dead label, the dead card." So yeah, LeBron Safari pack.
Not the
Air Max Safaris also were dope, but King James Safari shoe. It's actually a pretty comfortable shoe. Bottoms are super clean because I haven't worn them yet. But yep, LeBron Safaris.
Nice.
I mean, I can go second. I
know what that box is.
So this is dope because we rarely ever get the sneakers dubs. Like the sneakers dubs are so rare, and part of me thinks that why I actually was able to get this through the app is because I'd actually bought a pair of Air Max 1s from the Nike side. It was supposed to be like, a members exclusive thing or whatever. I got my order, and then a few days later, Nike canceled my order. And so like it was like a supply issue or something. Either way, that shit had never happened to me before from like the actual shoe company. So I was blown. So my whole thing was they probably just put it in the code, next sneakers raffle that, CB enters, he's getting it. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking happened. But I'm not going to be upset because I wanted these really badly.
Yeah.
And like these joints are sick. Like they're what I was hoping they would be. So they kind of got like the Union LA vibes, which I think is dope. And the materials are really good, So I was super happy about getting. It's always a good day when you get some Jordans, right?
Oh yeah. Those are dope. Those are high tops, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can find. They got all the mid colorways out right now, and you can get the lows, but for me, it's like it's got to be the highs, or they're probably not for me.
Highs or nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Superfly, you up?
All right. I actually do got something this time.
Oh,
Also, sneakers cop.
Oh, Superfly. When Superfly come out, he rarely has. It's a treat.
I don't show a lot. You know what I'm saying?
You normally got the barbecue master 3s on, you know.
You know, and I'll show something this time though. Got the.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all noticed, but they increased the price on these joints after these dropped. Like they now are $250 when they were $220 on this pair. The gray going for $250. The navy's going for $250 now. Wow. So I think they saw like how in demand. Yeah, it's like a new laceless. I don't even know how it works yet. I haven't even put them on or anything like that. But there's like a release here, but then there's also something in the back that also.
I think that's how you
system.
Yeah, oh, that's the Jordan. That was from the Jordan laces. Yeah, those are dope.
I think LeBron took those on a new pair he got coming out too. That got the little release on.
I'm gonna do the lace. Yeah.
The other thing about this one is they're like completely made, or the majority of the shoe is made from recycled materials, right. And you can kind of really see it in the sole and all the different pieces, even in the fly knit. So it's crazy. Yeah.
Man, that's a hell of a show right there.
He came out and showing today. Okay. Yeah. That was dope.
Well, I'm going on my grown man after football type of shoe. You know, I had to get the clubs out, you know, and Patty stack it up. But
I was to say something about like Stacey Adams or something.
Here you go. You just got the cup for that, huh? What's in your cup, huh? But no. So again, you know, Jordan fanatic. I wish Pops was online so he could see it because I'm still looking for them 5, the cleats. Hint, hint. If he's listening, you dig? So with that being said, you know, even though I'm out there trying to learn how to do my thing and, you know, hitting the ball, you know, 40 yards the opposite direction, I still got to go and do it in style. And, you know, got them golf boots, that leather.
Nice.
How comfy are those on court?
Nope. Man, this is crazy. Like, yo, when I tell you, I played football in the Jordans, and Clay can tell you that. I always felt like the shoe that I wore had to be comfortable in itself. Like there's some Jordans that's just not made for the court. It's just not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. However, these right here, when I talk about the comfort and walking the course, like we wasn't in no like walking the course, feet wasn't hurting afterwards. It's good padding. It's that leather material, but it's the soft leather on there. Like I said, I had one of the groundskeepers saw me at the driving range and stopped his cart and was like, "Are those Jordans?" Like out loud, everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" You know, all the old people was like, "What?" Like what are you talking about? And he was just like, "Man, those was tight, man." Like he went around the back and told all his homeboys. They started riding by, asking me, "Are those Jordans? Like, did you do those?" I was like, "Nah, man, they actually sell them." So that's my claim to fame of looking good. I was trying to do that. I said, look good, but I ain't playing good. So I got to get that. I got to get that part.
There we go.
There you go. You got anything for us?
I do. I came prepared because I've been watching. So I said, I got to come correct. Don't leave me out of the street. Jordan 11s are my favorite. Cool Grays were my favorite until they dropped the Bordeaux's. When they dropped initially, I was out of town and I was asleep and I missed them. But 2 years later, I found this dude on Instagram, the Sneaker Peddler. If you're interested, check him out. But he had them and I had to get them. And he was not super overcharging for them either. So I had to cop them. Like my favorite shoes. Unlike everybody else, I wear mine. There's probably pebbles and all kinds of shit in here. But also, I have one more because, you know, I have to do it for the ladies. You know?
Yeah, we can't promote.
There might be a girl watching, so I had to do it for the ladies.
Exactly.
I'm into colors in patterns. My friends will tell you I don't ever have just a pair of black heels or nude heels. I always have patterns and colors. So how to do it for the ladies too.
Nice. Much appreciated. That's tight. Okay. That's great. Ooh, okay.
That was a good shoe segment, for real.
That was. Everybody came today. Everybody came today. That's good. Everybody pulled up.
The bar is getting dropped higher and higher, bro. I don't know. I might have to go into the storage unit now. Like, Superfly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Superfly has dropped, like, his selection really got me, like, I definitely.
A silent assassin. He only come out every now and then when it's time to show out, and then he's gone. Like, just 5 minutes.
I can't show everything for coming out on my episode, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Please let him have a shoe this week, please. So I appreciate you coming out on this episode.
Let me see. I have some quick closers. Something I wanted to bring up earlier. Just real quick, we'll go through it. So yesterday was the first time outside of computer being on the screen that I've seen Superfly and CB. And we all talk about quarantine and we all know what everyone's doing and stuff like that. But I thought as I left Superfly's house, like, is there a prerequisite now when you go to someone's house that you have to make? Like, I know Superfly's in there with his family, and I've been in the house chilling with mine, and I wanted to dap my boy up, but I didn't know if he wanted to dap me up. And, it's just like, do you want to? If I don't want to, then I'm like, well, the respectful thing is, because of the rules, keep a distance, and then, but does anybody ever invite anybody in? Like, come on, But that's what I want to know. Is there a prerequisite you have to give before you go to somebody's house? Because same thing with CB. Like, we kind of gave that awkward, like, is he gonna go in? Am I gonna go in? Like, what is, I'm just like, damn, do we have to talk about that before I get there? Like, am I gonna give you a dab or what? We just gonna talk? What's gonna happen here?
It was like the moment off the Step Brothers when he was like, should I hug him?
It was like an awkward, like.
I don't even know how to dap people up. Forget just going in the house. When I see somebody, I'd be like, are we doing this? What we doing? Like crane style, what we doing here? Hey, shout out to Cool Hunter too. Like, and we had that awkward moment when I seen him at the service, man. So shout out to him too. I was like, man, I don't know what to do anymore.
You don't. I mean, like I said, off the break, the respectful thing to do is, I know you've been quarantined. I know you've been quarantined, and you're serious about it, and you know what I've been doing. But then it's, like, what do you do at that point? Like, has that been a thing for you, Piper? Just coming in contact with people?
Because everybody has their own rules. Some people, like, I'm a hugger by nature, so it is that weird, like, oh God, especially when it's someone you haven't seen. Even with the business, when I'm doing deliveries, some people I've delivered and I'm like, okay, let me put my mask on. And then you show up to deliver and nobody has a mask on. And you're like, okay, maybe I was doing too much. So it's weird because, it's like, do I need to have the gloves when I'm delivering? Do I need to put the mask on? Is it awkward to hug somebody that you see? It's just been hit or miss because some people are like, don't touch me. And other people are kind of like with the elbow. Some people go in for the hug. So I just try and gauge it off the other person before I like go for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. What about you, E?
Yeah, man. I not too many, visitors on that side. I guess I'm more entitled to, like I said, you kind of know like where they've been, you know what I mean, and you kind of it's almost like this is the most serious trust factor game that you'll have to play. You know what I mean? Is playing in that aspect of like they've been at home, to that part. You never go wrong with the fist bump, but then you got the hand sanitizer on lock. You know what I mean? But then it's like old school used to be if you do that, you be like, damn, like am I dirty? Like you just go hands. But now it's just like normal. Hey, it's just for my own safety. But I guess it just depends. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was interesting because I was wondering. I was like, man, he probably went over there and it's like, is it awkward? Was he kind of like DoorDash? Did he knock on the door and leave it on the doorstep?
The text message. That's what I say. Yo, see, the Superfly. If you're gonna be on, I'm just gonna put it at the door. It's still free. I'm gonna knock her in, go out, and she can just come get it. I mean, I'm a step away, you know. And then when he said, "No, I'll come to the door," I'm like, "Okay." So I knocked on the ring doorbell, and I stepped away a little bit, and then I'm just like, "Okay, what game we gonna play?"
And then exactly. When he stepped back, I was like, "All right, well, cool. I'll just go outside then." And then we just stayed outside. I wasn't even. I didn't give it much thought. I was like, he could have came in, you know, whatever.
Right.
But it's all you don't know. Yeah, I haven't had many visitors at all, so I don't know what to do. You know.
So childhood ding dong ditch skills have definitely come in handy these days. It's just like ding dong, and you kind of take off running.
Right. It's changed everything. It's changed human interaction. Like it's just changed everything, and you know, it'd be interesting to see, you know, where we go from here.
Yeah.
But up next, so our Black Business Series continues next week. Up next, Little Angels Learning Center with Monique Queen. We'll be talking about the little kiddies next week, and you know how learning centers have been affected, and you know where we at with that. And so I think that'd be also a good chat. The ladies are ruling the last few weeks, so keep the energy next week. But again, Piper, we want to thank you for coming through and being and watching us and putting up with some of our stuff and
sending the food out. Crazy.
And allowing for me to have that awkward moment with Superfly and CB last night. Allowing me to have that awkward moment.
You're welcome.
So,
and please let us know when you're ready to set up that pipeline to be shipping the food out to the East Coast, because we ready. I'm ready.
Family out the way first, because again, if they're watching, I'm definitely going to get a couple death threat texts, I'm sure. After them,
look, family, this was business, family. This was business.
Exactly.
We had to have a prerequisite. We had to have something to talk about here. You know? So, family, she didn't forget you. This was just business.
And I'll let you.
I can't wait to brag to all my friends about you.
Exactly. Before we go, give us all your social media stuff, Piper. Please tell people where they can find you.
Instagram, Facebook, PattyCakePiper. Twitter is the cake dealer. That's it. I don't really do too much TikTok, although I did just go viral on TikTok, ironically enough, even though I'm never on there. My cousin posted a video when I went to Tennessee, quick story of me just covering a cake, and it turned into like a full-blown hype party somehow. And like last time I checked, it's like at 130,000 views in like 2 weeks. Which is crazy because that's the first time I've ever been viral. But again, TikTok is not even my platform. I don't even have a username, but somehow I went viral on TikTok recently. So just PattyCakePiper on all social media platforms.
Crazy.
Superfly, plug that Twitch because I forgot last week. But plug that Twitch because
it's DJ _Superfly _TNT. On Twitch, and yeah, I've been faking on going live this week because I've had some issues with my other hustle, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get back on it probably tomorrow, just to get back on the game and probably sometime this weekend as well.
And speaking of tomorrow is also Fried Fish Fridays. If you haven't been there yet, I went last week. I mean, she was happy to see me. She was, oh, hi. I was like, I told you I was coming.
I'm on it. Right.
And just, but that's We Are Something Else. Me and CB, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. I'm going to try to get us, well, one of us will work on getting us on Tidal because Tidal is now accepting podcasts.
Tidal and Spotify, I think. So, yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. But we also want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in. All people that stuck with us the whole show is like 7 people in here still. So even when we got into the shoes and other stuff. So that's, that must be you. That's some of them 130,000 plus TikTok followers. They're still in here watching our little show. So, but all right, y'all, that's it. We have something else. You want to do the thing, Rainbow?